Hello viewers and welcome back to another episode of the FIFA 23 career mode here with Derby County. Yes, we are approaching transfer deadline, well not transfer deadline day, the transfer window in January. But before that we've got 4 big games to finish off a very busy December period. We've had 8 games during this and it's been a bit of a mixed bag, it's safe to say. We're currently sat in 6th in the league, a full 12 points off of Burnley, who are currently leading the way. Nottingham Forest have come out of nowhere and now joint top as well. We're just looking to hopefully secure a playoff position. Remember, at the start of the season, we were only expected to get a mid-table finish. So technically, I think we're actually doing a little bit better than was expected, but that's kind of for the course in FIFA, isn't it? Today we're going to be taking on Bournemouth, Reading, Swansea, and then Sunderland just before New Year's Eve. These are all games I'm expecting to get points out of. Maybe not so much with Bournemouth, although they've been struggling a little bit more than you would think, considering they were a Premier League club. We've gone with the usual starting 11, which means that Chamiti is back up front again, and I have to say he has been a breath of fresh air, really. He's taken a lot of the weight off of Brenner, who's obviously had to carry most of the sort of scoring load for us during this campaign. But having Chamiti there makes a massive difference. And for some reason in this game we were playing with a lot of confidence. You can tell there it's a lovely back to front move, and the man in question, Chamiti, with a lovely finessed finish into the far corner. I love that movement all the way from sort of start to finish, and that is actually his 12th goal in 23 matches. So he's averaging just over or just under 1 every 2 games, which is pretty good. Blake Downs as well seems to be coming into his own a little bit. He made a really good save there to kind of keep it at 1-0. But then again, the football is just so much better as Chamiti there tries to square the ball across when he probably should have just finished it. Didn't back his left foot, and I made a bit of a mistake there. Second goal doesn't take too long to come here. Brenner doing really, really good work. The press is working absolutely excellently at the moment, and he manages to get himself a goal. It's just really, really good pressing. Ever since I've changed to kind of constant pressure, pressure when the ball is lost, we seem to be playing so much better, and it suits me down to a T. I'm very much a kind of front foot FIFA player. I'm not very good at defending and sitting back, as you can imagine. So 2-0 up and cruising away here at the Vitality, but we weren't done there. Just before half time, Chamiti again finds Kenneth Brenner, who bends another lovely finish into the far corner. And even though Chamiti's doing very well at the moment, there's still only one main man in this team, and his name is Kenneth Brenner. Leaves us 3-0 up at half-time. An absolutely brilliant first half. Came out of absolutely nowhere. We've been really inconsistent so far this season. But one thing that has been consistent is me not being able to clean sheets. As Marcus Tavernier gets a goal back and you think, oh no, here we go, comebacks on. It's a lovely toe poke finish for him, to be fair. 65 minutes on the clock. I made a few changes at half-time, and it did feel like the team's sort of balance completely disappeared as they make it 2-0 there, with Christie finishing it again from Tavernier. Not Christie, sorry, Tony Martinez, who seems to be doing quite well from this year. I think he's got 8 goals so far this season. But after that I was like, right, okay, we need to shore up a little bit more because we're all over the place. But as usual, we just bounce back nicely. It's one thing we have developed a good habit of doing is we concede and then we go up the other end and get a goal. Cole Palmer finally getting a goal there after Brenner teed him up lovely with a lovely square ball. And we weren't finished there, just to really cement the win. Kenneth Brenner, once he gets 2, he tends to get a hat-trick, and he does, and today is no exception. 5-2 with a last-minute goal for a very, very impressive win. And if that's not a statement win, I don't know what is. That's us telling the rest of the league, especially Forest and Burnley at the top, that we are coming for them. But can we back it up? We needed to do that against Reading. Again, we went with the same squad. No real need to change after such a really good performance. And this was a bit of an odd turn of events, actually. It seems like a pretty innocuous challenge. It's not a good one by any means on Louis Siblier by the Reading player. But you can tell as he goes in, I like the animation there. You can just tell his ankle just clips there. He got a red card for it, which I thought was ridiculous, to be honest. If I got a red for that, I would have been fuming. So a little slice of luck there, but we got a little bit complacent, it's safe to say. And Reading almost took the lead. If it wasn't for Blake Daniels with a brilliant close-range save there, we could have found ourselves behind. But from the resulting corner, we go up the other end. Simply releases Kenneth Brenner. Brenner goes in on goal, and some things in life are certain. That is one of them. Kenneth Brenner finishes into the far corner. corner. A lovely, lovely finish, a lovely counter-attack breakaway. We caught Reading a little bit on the cold there. I don't know why they put so many people forward when they were about to have a corner. It makes absolutely no sense to me. And from here, again, it's all about the press. Kenneth Brenner seems to be absolutely made for pressing from the front. It's a lovely, lovely tackle on the Reading defender to make it 2-0. He's on absolute flames right now as Kenneth. He's obviously trying to... I think he's already got the golden boot sorted, but it's just to be safe. Garnacho here goes through on goal, and he just tees it over to Jones to make it 3-0 with 15 minutes left. We absolutely dominated this game from start to finish, to be honest. I think Reading had a little bit of an onslaught, though, in the last sort of 15 minutes or so after that. You can tell this is probably one of the best goals I've ever conceded. I mean, look at that. I mean, you can question the goalkeeping from Blake there, but don't question the quality of the cross and of the finish from Puskas, who I have to say is a very, very good player. Bit surprising, really, that no one else has kind of come in and picked him up yet in the save. I mean, the ball was brilliant. Jankovic is completely the other side of him, it's just over his head, and he can't get to it. It's a great cross. And yes, I was getting a little bit concerned here because then they went and got another goal. Puskas again on the score sheet. He's absolutely ridiculously good on this game. And we managed to escape with the 3-2 win. I say escape, we did dominate, but you can tell there that late flurry really gave them a bit of hope, which wasn't ideal. Next it's off to Wales to take on Swansea City, who aren't doing that well in the league. They are struggling a little bit, and we've obviously been in pretty decent form in the that's 4 wins in a row if memory serves. And again, you can see the pressing here. Brilliant play by Jimenez, finds Chamiti, and Chamiti just buries it into that far corner. It's genuinely today just makes me think this year I think you have to try and play a bit of a pressing game on FIFA. I think it's so much harder now to do what you used to do and sort of sit back and then hit people on the counter. I played a bit of Ultimate Team last night, and I get a little bit angry when I play Ultimate Team. There's no getting around it. But I'm also the first to say when someone's just outplayed me, then fair enough. Do you know what I mean? And yesterday I came up against someone that was literally the hardest game I've ever played, and he literally just pressed me off the park. And I usually I usually back myself on my passing. I couldn't put 3 passes together, so I think pressing is definitely the way to go in FIFA this year, whereas in previous years you could never do it because you would just get picked off. But this year, I'm glad they made a little bit of a change. I'm going to give some rare credit to EA in that respect. It does seem a lot harder now to sort of pass your way out from the back like your prime Barcelona. So fingers crossed that they can continue in that vein. Fingers crossed though this doesn't happen to you, because that is one of the worst goals I've ever conceded in terms of just sheer nonsense. You can see here Tanganga completely mucks up the header. It's not brilliant. Then obviously Blake makes a good save, but where does it bounce? Straight to Michael Obafemi, who always scores against me on this game. We weren't to be denied though. Chamiti and Ken Jones blinking up quite well there, and Brenner with an unlucky shot, to be honest. But then from the resulting corner, we work a really nice move there, and you won't believe it, but he's back again. Japhet Tanganga scores again. I believe that's 2 now he's got for the season in back-to-back episodes. It's a really nicely worked corner, actually. I just caught them on the caught them cold a little bit. Jones does really well, tees it into Tanganga, and that's a brilliant finish to make it back to 2-1. Now, the problem is with me is holding leads seems to be the biggest issue. As Uncham gets on the ball here. Remember when he used to play for Celtic? Crikey. Obafemi's stinging the palms of Blake Daniels again, but this time our keeper is equal to it. And from the resulting corner, how many times have I said that today? Quite a few. Max Bird wins the ball, plays it into Garnacho. Garnacho sprints away from them. You think, is he going to finish it? No. Composure from the young man. Tees it to Jones, and that would seal the victory for a lovely 3-1 win. 85 minutes on the clock. He enjoyed that, does Jones. It's great having a player with that much pace and that much ability coming off the bench to really stretch defences when they're chasing the game afterwards. I find that when we go ahead in games, we are so much better. We just seem to be able to hold it and just pick teams off. It's when I go behind that I think things get a little bit difficult. For the final game of it, we had to make a couple of changes just due to some tired legs. So Chukwuemeka and Ferguson came in for Tanganga and Max Bird. And that was hosting Sunderland. Obviously, they've made a bit of a journey down. To be fair, everywhere's a journey though from the northeast, to be honest. And they're a team that I think they stuffed me the last time that we played, and I got a little bit annoyed by it. But Blake Daniels, I have to say, a little bit of a shout out to him in this episode. I've put a few more of the clips in where he actually makes some really decent saves. And in this game, he was again pretty much on fire. Really, if it hadn't been for him, this could have been a very, very different result. You can tell that's a brilliant save because that's come like through some bodies and he's not been able to see it. It's a lovely, lovely save. And to Sunderland were all over me. Blake Daniels had the most amazing half an hour probably of his entire career, really. But as usual, it's a classic FIFA trope. The team that's dominating usually tends to go behind first. As Kenneth Brenner goes for a goal. I did you there, didn't I? But he's absolutely missed it. And I never thought I'd see the day that if anything, I'd said earlier, a sure is a sure thing. He always finishes in that far corner. Just hits it wide. A very un-Brenner-like finish. We grew into the half as it went on, and this is a lovely bit of play here, to be fair. Chukwuemeka gets on the ball, but then just manages to lose it, which is a bit annoying. But Njezovic does a brilliant tackle, finds Chimiti. Chimiti waits. Kadlec on the ball, hits a great shot across the goalkeeper. It's a wonderful save, but then Louis Sibley, the kind of forgotten man really this year, because he's not been at the same sort of standard as he was, manages to dive in there with his preferred right foot and puts a good finish in to put us 1-0 up. He then puts it in a great ball to Chimiti here to Sibley. Chimiti just darts back onto his right foot and he just bends it right. It's a finish that I'm getting used to him seeing now. He's just trying to bend it into that far corner. Sort of Henry-esque. He's nowhere near that good though. And lightning can strike twice. It's happened again. Sunderland got a man sent off for yet another foul on Chimiti as well, bless him. He seems to take a little bit of a battering, and then I don't know how much of that one. It was a bit off the ball, so I can see probably why that one was a red in comparison to the Reading one, which I didn't think was. Goalie makes a good save there from Kadlec, and we just started really upping the press and upping the pressure on them here. That doesn't mean that they didn't have chances because, you know, it's me, I'm like a sieve. And then Blake Daniels called into action again for the first time in the second half. That you can tell he's not particularly happy. He's like, guys, come on, they're down to 10 men. What are you playing at? Chimiti was on fire today. That's a brilliant ball by him there into Sibley. Sibley tees it across and another great save there. Jimenez is so good on that left-hand side. He just gets forward so much and I love it. We just needed that second goal, and courtesy of Kenneth Brenner, we get it with on the 80th minute. Chimiti and Brenner, it's a bit like peanut butter and jam. It's like beans and toast. It's Ant and Dec. It's just a partnership that's made in heaven. It's 22 goals in 26 matches now for Brenner. The guy is a machine, it's safe to say. Sunderland did have another kind of chance towards the end. Blake Daniels, he was determined to keep a clean sheet today. We haven't kept a clean sheet all season. That's actually a genuine fact. We haven't kept one all season. And in the 90th minute, he makes sure of that with a brilliant save to rush out and stop the Sunderland players from going through. And actually sets us off on a really, really good counter as Garnacho plays a wonderful ball through to Jones, who comes on as a sub again. Can he finish? No, he hits the bar with an absolute rocket. It was unfortunate, really. That would have been a great counter-attack goal. Maybe a little bit harsh on Sunderland, but ultimately a 2-0 win. And quietly quite comfortable in the end. We are, however, greeted with some pretty odd news here, and I didn't expect to see this, but Carlton Palmer, not Carlton Palmer, I can understand why they bring him back. Cole Palmer and Chukwuemeka have been brought back by Man City and Chelsea, respectively, because of a lack of game time, which I find a little bit unfair. I've been giving them a lot of minutes in off the bench, but maybe they expected a little bit more than that. That's actually not really done that much for us in the league. We are now only 9 points behind Nottingham Forest, but ultimately we're only 5th, so we've still got a long way to go. Burnley are dropping off the pace as well at the top. But hopefully, come January, we can make a few more signings. We'll be able to catch up a little bit more. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, then please do like, share, and subscribe. And until I see you again, stay cool.